Mhm. Yep. I think a lot of American dog people are nodding their heads from 6,000 miles away because not not that that's the mentality. I think we can bring a lot more of that in, but the pigmentation, the number of guys who, you know, and I think it's true. You don't dogs with light pigmented feet with the nails don't hold up well day after day, and it's cool that you guys are seeing the exact same thing. I think there's a conscious approach in Japan. Not here; it's sort of haphazard. Oh, like we don't. I don't like pink-footed dogs, but whereas in Japan, there's very concerted and detail-oriented efforts to breed towards something. A set of traits that you have deemed positive and useful for the function, which is really awesome.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, if to try and recreate a breed, like if all of a sudden you wrote into the standard for some other breed that, oh, we need to start selecting for, no more pink paws and black nails, there would be this great pushback, and it would be a big issue. And it's like there are more important issues for a breed than the color
Mhm.
of of its paws. But because, like you said earlier, in these Japanese breeds, because of that, we actually had the material to still work with. We can have a much more exacting standard, I feel, because the dogs are actually at that level. And for us, it's more a matter of understanding the finer points of the standard and of the dogs and preserving them to not lose them. Because once we
Mhm.
lose them, they're gone. And then we'd have to try and recreate them, which we probably wouldn't be able to do. So that's why it's a real preservation effort as opposed to we're trying to create a better dog.
Yeah, and I think you're leagues ahead if you're preserving versus recreating. As far as hunting dogs go, I don't think there's any reality in recreating dogs. We've got dogs which do all jobs. There's unique traits to the Nihon Ken or to a hound, but when you get into these little efforts to recreate, I think it's futile. Whereas you guys have still got all that material there. The key is hunters. That's black feet or pink feet. If they're being used and they're being hunted, they will be selected properly. Over
Yeah.
time, I think.
Like I will go and play devil's advocate here, and I could say that the most amazing Kishu that I've ever seen hunting was my dog Baron's aunt. Her name was Momo, and she was an amazing boar hunter, the best boar hunting Kishu I've ever seen. She had this perfect distance that she would close to on the boar and bay them, and she would wait till the last possible second and dodge them and come around. And the moment that boar tried to turn, she was on its Achilles and just hanging there. And she basically, about 80% of the time, would, by the time I got there to the boar's Achilles on one side or the other was gone. So the boar could
Hmm.
not run anymore.
Hmm.
And she never got injured. She was an amazing dog. But she was terribly hawk-kneed.
Hmm.
Her hocks in the back were like an X, and so
Hmm.
her structure was terrible. And people would say, no, so does that make her a terrible dog? But she was fast. She hunted very well. So
Yep.
form does follow function, but I think the essence of a dog, the character and temperament, and that hunting drive and ability is even more important than the aesthetic kind of structural things that a lot of times we focus on.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think that's we're all the way on the other extreme side of the spectrum here, where there's lots of dogs who are janky as hell looking, but who hunt really good. And so I think we endeavor towards the ideal, towards perfection, both temperament, character, physical. We'll never get there, but you aim for good structure. And but yeah, no, without a doubt, there are. In fact, it's almost a rule here that the jankiest looking dogs you see are going to be the best dogs. I don't know why that is, but yeah, no, I think you're right.
We definitely see that here too. Like a lot of these gene, like I say, there's some that throw very much the Nihon Ken type, and then there's some pretty, like you said, janky looking, odd looking dogs. But we have this term, another one of these great Japanese terms that I love. It's called shige ryozen, which means, roughly translated, it means like, so the aesthetic and the hunting ability, like its hunting style, both in complete in one dog, essentially. And that was like Ichijuiku, which is the one hunter, one dog. It's one of these kind of considered the pinnacle of Nihonken hunting dog. To have that ability to be a beautiful hunting dog according to the standard, but also to have that amazing hunting ability. And I've had, when I first started with the Nihon Ken, and I told Nippo judges and stuff that that's what I wanted, that's what I wanted to aspire to. And they were like, oh, good luck with that. It's going to be a long journey. And it's probably
Yeah.
impossible.
Uh,
But that's why we do things as humans, I think. If we don't have, when we have those goals, what is it? Shoot for the stars. We may hit the sky or something like that, but at least we're much better off than we were. And that's how I feel with the Nihonken. I'm going to constantly be striving to do this Shige Ryozen, to have this dog that is at the top levels of, the show dog world here in Japan, the Preservation Society, but is also, in my mind, a first-class boar hunting dog.
mhm.
And I want to. I've have a few dogs that are kind of almost there. I've got one male now that's kind of there, but I think the next step is actually to be, like you alluded to earlier, about the percentage of pups or dogs produced that will be hunting in that same level. And we're not quite there yet. I want to get up to, it might be ridiculous to think we could get the Nihonken up to the German levels of, 90% of the dogs or something like that. But it's not impossible because the Hosoda line Kishu that I got my first Kishu out of was essentially like that. It was like the litter that Baron came out of, my first one, was 11 puppies, and two of them didn't make it, so there was 9 puppies left. All went to hunters. Oops, sorry about that. Got a
So
visitor.
there.
1 second.
No, you're fine.
Moro. Moro, moro. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so there was 9 puppies, and all 9 of them turned into amazing, really famous boar hunting dogs. So it is; those numbers are out there. It's just a little more difficult when you're selecting for aesthetics and hunting ability. But I think we're going to find that sweet spot for sure. It's
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I think with the level of detail and passion with which I think it seems like your whole scene, but you in particular are approaching this this job, it's going to get done. I think the tricky part is finding hunters for those dogs. It sounds like.
Yep, that's what we're up against now: is finding those good hunters that are going to share that goal and that understanding, and hunt these dogs at a high level. It's definitely a difficult thing to find.
Mhm.